CFM56 Thrust Reverser Deactivation for Flight. This procedure is carried out when a fault occurs on the thrust reverser system which cannot be repaired for the next flight. Deactivation and lockout devices are therefore provided to secure the pivoting doors in their stowed position when an aircraft has to be dispatched with an inoperative thrust reverser. Before working on the engine, safety precautions have to be taken in the cockpit. On panel 115 VU, put a warning notice to tell people not to start the engines. On the overhead panel, panel 50 VU, make sure that the ON legend from the FADEC ground power switch is off and install a warning notice. Open the fan cowl doors and put the access platform into position. Make the thrust reverser unserviceable by removing the quick release pin from the stowage position on the HCU, move the inhibition lever to the off position and insert the quick release pin. Do an operational test of the thrust reverser system with the CFDS in accordance to the Aircraft Maintenance Manual. Energize the related ECU with the FADEC ground power push-button switch on panel 50 VU. Get access to the CFDS system report test. Select Next Page and select the line key next to the engine. Select the line key related to the FADEC 1A or 1B menu to get access to the System Test and Reverser Test menu. Obey the cautions and warnings in the Aircraft Maintenance Manual and on the MCDU before you start the reverser test to prevent any injury to personnel or damage to equipment. Make sure that the green or amber REV indication does not appear in the N1 indication on the engine and warning display. Check that the ECAM warning Engine 1 or Engine 2 reverser fault appears. Make sure that none of the following messages appear on the test report after the test. Remove the screw that attaches the lockout fairing to the pivoting blocker door. Remove the bolt that attaches the lock plate from the stowage bracket and remove the lock plate. Remove the lockout bolt from the stowage bracket. Install the lockout bolt on the pivoting blocker door and torque it correctly in accordance to the values in the Aircraft Maintenance Manual. Put the lock plate over the lockout bolt and install the smaller bolt. Torque it correctly in accordance to the values in the Aircraft Maintenance Manual. Attach the lockout fairing to the stowage bracket and torque the screw correctly in accordance to the values in the Aircraft Maintenance Manual. Repeat this procedure with all the pivoting blocker doors on the related engine. Make sure that the working area is clean and clear of tools. Remove the access platform and close the fan cowl doors. Remove the warning notices in the cockpit. Do a FADEC ground test, engine non-motoring. Make sure that the following fault messages are not shown. In the cockpit, install a warning notice to show that the thrust reverser is inoperative. Make an entry in the logbook. This completes the thrust reverser deactivation procedure for flight operation.